Before any request, before any words you feel you need to organize for God, there is already an encounter taking place. God does not wait for you to align yourself before He draws near. He draws near in order to align you. Many people enter prayer carrying a silent sense of spiritual debt, as if they must justify why they feel tired, confused, or spiritually behind. But the truth is simpler and deeper. God does not begin the day interrogating you. He begins by welcoming you. There is a kind of exhaustion that does not come from too many tasks, but from the weight of trying to be strong all the time. You wake up, take a deep breath, move forward. But something inside you remains tired. It is not laziness. It is not lack of faith. It is the fatigue of those who have been fighting internal battles in silence. And that is exactly where God's mercy shows up. Not as a reward, but as a starting point. God's mercy is not a response to your spiritual performance. It is an eternal decision of His heart. Every morning, God chooses not to treat you according to what failed yesterday. He chooses to meet you in the now. The problem is that many people step into the day looking backward, while God is already standing in front of them. You carry guilt that God has already released. You replay mistakes He has already forgiven. And this creates an internal misalignment that drains your faith before the day even begins. Today, before any long prayer, before any specific request, you need to let this truth settle deep within you. God is not tolerating you. He is sustaining you. There is no impatience in His eyes when you come to Him weary. There is compassion. There is no surprise at your weakness. There is grace sufficient for it. When you understand this, something shifts in your spiritual posture. You stop praying as if you need to convince God of something and begin praying from the confidence that He is already involved. Faith stops being an effort and becomes an active rest. You no longer position yourself as someone begging for attention, but as a child who knows they are already seen. Many doors remain closed not because God does not want to open them, but because the person is trying to walk through them carrying weights they were never meant to bear. Guilt, fear, shame, comparison, excessive self-demand. All of this makes the journey heavy, and God in His mercy often slows you down not to delay you, but to relieve you. Today is a day to release. Release the unrealistic expectations you placed on yourself. Release the idea that you must be spiritually flawless to be used by God. Release the inner voice that says you should already be further along. God works with real people, not idealized versions. There is something powerful about beginning the day by saying internally, "Lord, I am here exactly as I am." That honesty creates space for healing. God does not transform what you hide, He transforms what you surrender. And surrender does not need to be polished, only sincere. Before asking for direction, allow God to adjust your identity. Before crying out for open doors, allow Him to close the internal doors that keep you trapped in the past. Because when the inside aligns, the outside begins to respond. This is the foundation of the day. No rush, no pressure, mercy. A firm ground where your faith can rest without collapsing. This is where everything begins. There is a distorted idea that many people carry. If God were truly with me, this wouldn't be so hard. But that logic does not stand in the light of spiritual reality. The presence of God has never been a shortcut to a life without resistance. It has always been the guarantee that resistance would not have the final word. Favor is not when everything flows easily. Favor is when, even in adverse environments, something sustains you, something guards you, something positions you. Favor does not shout. It does not display itself. It does not put on a show. Favor works quietly, opening space where there was none, preserving you where others fell, strengthening you when logic said it was time to give up. There are moments when you are exactly where you did not want to be, living a season you did not choose, dealing with challenges you did not ask for. And still, God is there, not waiting for you to escape before acting, but acting within the imperfect scenario. That changes everything, because it means the difficult place is not a delay. It may be a stage. Many people believe they can only flourish once everything is resolved, but God often causes growth to emerge in unlikely soil. The process shapes, strengthens, and adjusts vision. Some doors can only be walked through by those who matured in the waiting. Some opportunities require an inner structure that only pressure can build. Favor is also protection. It is God preventing you from entering battles that would drain your soul. It is Him closing doors that looked good, but would have pulled you away from purpose. It is Him delaying answers to preserve you from consequences you cannot yet see. Not every no is rejection. Some are pure deliverance. When you begin to understand this, anxiety loses its grip. Comparison weakens. You stop using someone else's path as a measure for your own. God does not replicate journeys. He writes unique stories. What is working for someone else may not sustain you, and what seems slow today may be exactly the pace required to keep you whole. Favor also reveals itself in clarity, in discerning what deserves your energy and what only appears urgent, in learning to say no without guilt, in recognizing that not every opportunity is a God door, even if it looks appealing. Some distract, some divert. Only a few truly align. Today, God is not only opening external doors, He is strengthening your internal structure to sustain what is coming. Because accessing something great without the maturity to remain there leads to collapse. Favor prepares you before it promotes you. It grounds you before it exposes you. It heals you before it sends you. If you are in a dark emotional place, know this. God's presence is not limited by the lighting of the environment. He works in the unseen. He moves in silence. He sustains even when no one notices. And that does not diminish the miracle. It deepens it. Trust this. God's favor is not distant. It is active right now, even if it is not loud. There comes a moment in the spiritual journey when God does His part and waits for you to do yours. He opens the door, but He does not push you through it. He creates access, but He respects your decision to walk forward. And here a silent tension is born. Many people pray for change, but resist the movement that change requires. Open doors almost always come with discomfort, because stepping through requires leaving something behind. It requires releasing control. It requires abandoning an old identity that can no longer sustain the next level. And that is frightening. The familiar, even when painful, feels safer than the unknown that demands faith. But faith is not just believing that God can. Faith is responding when He calls. It is obeying without full guarantees. It is trusting that if He opened it, He will sustain it. Many spiritual opportunities are lost not because of lack of prayer, but because of excessive fear. Today, God's invitation is not only to wait for miracles, but to align your posture with them. How have you been living? With expectation or excessive caution? With active hope or one foot always ready to retreat? God honors steps taken with reverence, not paralysis. There are small signs throughout the day that confirm God's movement. Unexpected peace. A conversation at the right time. A clear idea in the middle of confusion. These are not insignificant details. They are invitations. God starts small to test willingness, not ability. When you honor the small, the large finds room. When you respond to the subtle, the extraordinary manifests. The problem is that many wait for the big moment before acting, while God waits for action before revealing the big moment. Today is a day to reposition your expectation, not waking up waiting for something to go wrong, but attentive to what could go right. Not romanticizing hardship, but recognizing that it does not rule your story. Not idolizing the past or fearing the future, but responding to the now. True change begins inside. When your heart aligns, your choices change. When your choices change, your path changes. And when your path changes, new doors appear. Now, before we close, I want to invite you to something simple yet profound. If this message spoke to you at any level, do not just consume it in silence. Write a sentence in the comments that represents your decision today. Something like, I will step through, not to be seen, but to seal an internal posture. Your words organize your faith. If this message brought clarity or peace to your heart, like this video as a conscious gesture of spiritual agreement. This is not about algorithms. It is about signaling that this truth found a place in you, and can reach others who also need to breathe spiritually. And if you sense that you need to walk consistently in this atmosphere of alignment, hope, and spiritual maturity, subscribe to the channel. Not as an automatic click, but as a commitment to your own journey. Here we do not chase quick sensations. We walk in depth day after day. God is still opening doors. The question now is not whether He can. It is whether you are willing to step through with confidence,